Hi, it's Tom at FDS, and today we're going to be looking at your entry-level piece of tactical equipment. We're going to be making a small dart bag that you can just sling over your shoulder, and ideal for playing just fun games, or also if you're running light, and you can even use it with a Nemesis and just use it for carrying loose HIRs. So you've got in front of you the things you're going to need. You're going to need some webbing. In this case, this is just a herringbone webbing. It's nothing complicated, it's not expensive. This is just cotton stuff. You're not making something that's going to need to be mil spec. You're also going to need some scissors, in this case a good pair of dressmaking scissors, and you'll also want some form of marking out pen, and this is just a cloth marking pencil, and you just draw the lines on, and then it's a type of chalk and you can sweep it off afterwards. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to measure up the sizes that you're going to need for your bags, and these hold around 30 to 50 darts. Okay, we're ready to start marking out, and what you're looking for is you're looking for a bag that's about 20 centimeters deep at most and about 20 centimeters wide, and that gives you a good place to put your hand, but it's not so big that people put stupid things in it like magazines that just fall out everywhere. And obviously you can make them deeper if you want, and there's nothing to stop you making like 30 centimeter deep bag or foot deep. And if you're in America, 8 inches is probably going to do you for the depth of your bag. So I'm just going to mark my lines for 20 centimeters. That's roughly going to be the size of your bag, but there is a bit more to add. Because you're going to seam it on the inside, you need to add a centimetre or so for seaming. So you'll have a centimetre either side that'll be seamed. So what you want to do is you want to go out 2 more centimetres. So I'm going to start out here. I've made a couple of marks at 22 centimetres. So I've got a starting plan. I'm going to use my square so that I can get everything nice and tidy. So I need a longer straight edge now, and the kids have stolen my useful meter stick that I had. I had a nice big wooden yardstick that I used for this job, so I'm having to use the long side of my set square and just keep working my way down. You've got to watch out for going over dims when you do this. It's easy to go too far out. Doesn't matter if they're not perfectly square, but I always think that it's better to get a decent square if you can. So now we need to mark out the length. What we're going to do is we're going to take this side, and this side is going to fold across on itself, and then we will have mounted the strap up here, and we do all of that with the bag inside out, and then we turn the bag out the right way. So if we want it 20 centimeters deep, we need 40 centimeters, and then we need a centimeter for a top hem and a centimeter for a top hem at the bottom. So that's going to be 42 centimeters long, like that, and that's the size of your bag. So it's a 42 by 22 that you need to cut if you're using centimeters. Okay, we're ready to cut out now, and when we cut out we want to follow the line that we've made, and we gently pull the stuff taut and work our scissors down the line, in case you've never done any sewing before. I'm not saying I'm by any means an expert at sewing, I can do it, but only just. So apologies to Iona, as a proper seamstress. So you can see my line is a little bit on the ragged side. So I'm going to cut that out, and then we'll show you how to stitch it together. Okay, next we've got to look at strap length. If you're making for kind of kids, teens or smaller adults, a metre is more than adequate. I'm 6'2", I can wear a 1 metre strap, and it puts it about 6 inches below my armpit, which is not a bad place. If you are dealing with slightly bigger people, you can go to 1.2 meters. So if you're in America, that's 3'3" or 3'6" in the strap length. I generally go for a meter because obviously they sell the strapping in meter lengths, and then you can order exactly the right amount. But 1 meter 10 centimeters is pretty good compromise, and that fits most people. You don't want to hang in too low on little kids, and you don't want it too high on adults. So a meter is a good compromise. Right, welcome to Tactical Sewing Cam. And I'm just setting the machine up, and what I'm going to do first is I've got to start with the first hem. So we're going to hem the top and bottom. So this is the top hem here, this will be the top little seam. So what you do when you want to hem is you want to find the inside of the material, which is the side which has got the marking on, and sometimes it's a slightly different colour, and then you just want to fold that top hem over like that, and then you want to pin it in place. And the reason you put a hem at the top is because it will unravel if you don't. So I've just got a couple of ordinary dressmaking pins and just put those across the top to hold that hem in place. You've got to remember, when you make bags you're working inside out, so it can be kind of weird to orientate yourself, so if you make a mistake you'll end up with everything on the outside. So that's now ready. You've got to line that up with the foot. Now, if you've never used a sewing machine before, do seek some advice. I don't pretend to be any kind of expert on this, so if people who really sew see me doing horrible things, that's because I've taught myself. And if you're hand sewing this, then obviously you can just use a straight stitch. I'm going to use a zigzag stitch, and I'm going for a relatively small zigzag, so I'm not going for like mega wide, but I want to just sew along this line. So I'm going to get ready, and I've got my foot down on the foot pedal, and then I'm just going to slowly walk forwards with the foot. Don't stick your hand under the needle, and don't ever feed your hand. Always keep your hand well away from the feed, and make sure that you've got some tails on your thread, all that kind of stuff. Just basic safety if you're using a sewing machine. Get your mum to teach you or your nan to teach you. You could develop a new hand skill at the same time. So I'm just going to make a little forward and back seam just to give me a bit more strength at the back there. Once again, apologies to Iona, who's had my sewing inflicted on her before. You can see, just take the pins out as you move your way down. And I'm not stretching the material too much, and I'm keeping my hand back from the needle area. Just let the foot do the work. So that's the first seam stone, and then we're going to do the same on the opposite end, and I'll show you how to attach the strap. Okay, so here's the top edge of my material, and this is going to be the corner of my bag. And now remember that there's going to be a 10mm line down here which you're going to use for your seam, so don't go too close to the edge. And what you want to do is remember to make sure that your strap has a little bit of overlap, so you want your strap in like this. Just put a pin through just to hold it in place so that you can see what's going on. So your strap is going to sit in there like that, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to just do a straight seam right round the edge and then a double layer across the top, and that will hold it nicely in place. So when you do these, you're going to be going right round the edge, kind of seaming around the edge, and I start at the top usually, so I have to wait while I feed everything into position, because you want to start and finish in the top corner so it looks tidier. So I'm going back to a straight stitch. Now the needle I've got on this machine is a little on the thick side really, but I can't be asked to change it. It's the one I use for thicker material. So there you go, I'm lined up to do my first stitch on the strap. And then lift the foot, turn. It's really hard to sew these square. I don't know how people who do it properly do it, but I struggle. So now remember, a double line across the top. So there's the strap sewn into the corner, and I've got to go around and sew the other side. Now when you do the other side, make sure that you have the strap untangled. Okay, just so you can see where we are now, I've sewn the inside of that on, and then what we're going to do is that we're going to fold this, and you want to fold this inside out, so this edge is going to go over like that. And that will give you the finished shape of your bag, and then you're going to go over the top of that. You're going to hem round the edge and down this edge, and that will finish off your bag. Okay, I'm ready to make the seam down the edge now, and I'm just going the full width of the foot, so it's slightly wider this time. It's about 1/2 inch, 12mm across, because I want a nice wide seam down the side of the bag to make sure that it doesn't split open. You don't want too little material on the inside edge, because otherwise you'll lose the strength. Okay, so there's our finished bag, and as you can see the seams are on the inside, so that now if we turn this bag inside out, so there's the finished bag, and as you can see, top's held nicely open by the webbing. You can get your hand in there, and there's plenty of room for darts. You could fit a 6 mag in there if you wanted to, but I generally deliberately make them small because I don't want people to put magazines in them. And you can get quite a few HIRs in those, and hopefully that'll give you something different to make. And these don't cost very much to make. I mean, they're under $5 each, even if you buy small amounts of materials. If you go to remnant stores and dig around, or cut up an old piece of clothing, like an old pair of jeans, something like that, for material, then you can do it for even less.